tuned up?
Yep.
Let's go.
Okay, I hit the live button, so.
Okay, we're live. Welcome to Carmine's Country Corner. A little rap session here. Tom, tell us what we're doing and tell them who we got here tonight.
You're gonna hit me in the face
Well,
with that
what we're
guitar.
doing is just getting together for a bonus show. We do every now and then have a chat.
It's behind the scenes.
It's not an
Behind the
interview.
scenes.
It's not an interview. It's a conversation. So no one's going to be back and forth with questions unless you know that it flows that way. But it's just a conversation. For instance, if these guys are paying attention and I just all of a sudden stop talking, someone better be there to pick up the ball. So let's try it right now. All right?
Blue and broken. We're not going to do that much music. Anyway, here, are you tuned up?
No.
That's pretty close. Hit it.
This is Dan
Really
Hugart.
close.
Dan Hugart is like, if you know baseball, he's like the utility player.
Where is he?
He can do anything.
He
He can pitch. He can play second.
Shortstop,
He can, shortstop.
outfield, everything.
He can coach the team.
That's right.
He sells tickets and hot dogs.
I'm gonna pop them.
He does everything. And
He's got me out of more.
So I'm like
Bad
the wa-
spots.
I'm like the water boy.
You like the? Yeah, he's like the go
no, no,
for
I
guy.
know what.
When we need coffee, he gets it. No,
And this-
he's the YouTube tracks have been sounding great because we do this live with one mic and the other regular setup that goes on Facebook. Well, Dan comes along, he puts mics on everybody, he does his whole separate thing, and then he goes home and mixes it,
Yep.
and that's why it's not on YouTube till like Monday night or Tuesday morning. But we're getting a lot of good hits.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of attention
And-
on YouTube.
and-
Without Carmine, without even trying, other than posting the information.
Oh yeah, no.
we don't
when-
ask for money. We don't ask for you to push
Right.
the button. Every now and then, I ask to push the button.
Well,
But-
more subscribers would be nice. If you guys could subscribe more, that would build our show. That's very important to do that. But we got a pretty nice built-in audience, and it's growing every week. The numbers are
Yep.
going up a little, and so
We're
you
going to
know,
win this battle by attrition. We're going to
after
be doing
3.5
this
years,
so
we're going to
long.
win something. What?
Maybe I'll put an insert in the video
Mhm.
that says like and subscribe.
Please,
Yeah, if I
We-
can,
we should
if I
do
can
that
find
here,
one
too.
to slip in there.
yeah, do it. So
Figure
all
out-
you folks, pass the
figure
word.
out
Help
how
us
to do
out. It's a good family, fun show.
And who's this guy in the end?
He's still tuning his guitar.
Who is he?
This thing, if I tune this string any higher, it's gonna explode.
Ooh, I've been
It's
there.
like blowing up a balloon.
This is
isn't it?
roughly what you got.
Hit a B. See, it's going out as we're talking.
See, this is the part where we tune up the instruments, and we do it in front of you on your time, which is really exciting.
All
this
you
is the
guitar players up there, stop laughing at us because they're not perfectly tuned.
D.
We could have done
D.
it before the show starts, but if we did,
That's
we
a D.
would be
D's a D.
depriving you
No, I know.
of this
It's
educational experience.
so wrong.
I mean, how often do you
Switch.
see?
So anyway, it was not raining when we decided to do this, and it wasn't near as cold. But about 3 hours out, we only put this together this morning. And I called a couple of guys. Hey, you want to do this? Tom said I'll be there at 4:30. Dan said okay, and Gary said I'm there. And Paul was going to try to make it. He had some appointment. He was going to try to get out, but he might not be here. This weekend's going to be fun. You know who we got this weekend on
I
drums?
do.
Who?
Terry McWhorter.
Yeah, Jerry McWhorter was the guy who started he was the original drummer in the Carmen's Country Corner band. He did it for like a year and a half with us. And I called him today and said, Palmer's taking off this Sunday, and would you like to come make an appearance? He said, I'd love to.
Dude is a true entertainer. Man.
Oh, he's great. He's got that band Hot Roo that's a really good group.
About 2 years ago, he gave me 2 DVDs or CDs of his Hot Roo
Uh-huh.
DVD CDs. And in my car, I got an old enough car to where I got CD. I still listen to CDs, and I put they're in the cycle. Those are good, man.
They're good, yeah,
They're like
they-
a New Orleans kind of country.
Swampy, yeah,
Yeah.
He's got a good thing going there. All right, Gary Swan, he was supposed to do the MCing tonight, and I'm such a loudmouth, I'm talking over him again. Go ahead, Tom.
No,
take over.
I
I'm rolling back here.
No, this is the kind.
I'm gonna get with Dan.
Sit in the corner.
Dan and I are gonna be together.
We're all in the corner.
Guitar for sale.
So, Gary, did you play with Etta James?
Yeah, and that's.
Did she like it?
Did she like it?
Yeah.
She loved me.
She did?
Yeah,
Who doesn't love Gary Swan? Jesus.
Well,
I've had a career with playing with women. Mary Wells. I was playing with Mary, who did My Guy,
Oh.
the hook and the.
Oh my God.
So I was playing with Mary, and then Mary kind of took off for a while, so I started playing with Etta. And then after Etta, I went back and played with Mary.
where would you play with Etta at?
Everywhere.
Like in L.A. or in?
Everywhere. You know,
Well-
I played with her for about a year. So we do festivals and.
So
big
everywhere in
clubs.
the United States, everywhere in California,
Well,
everywhere in Los
12
Angeles.
months worth of gigs. And yeah. I
What was
mean,
she? What was she like to work with? Was she pretty easy? Pretty nice? Uh-oh.
You know-
He paused.
Well, she was like, there's certain artists. Well, I'll get off base for a second.
Was it that
If you
bad?
if you wanna be a young artist and you wanna learn how to do something, I always point to Johnny Cash, and his record Hurt, because he's so real, and it's coming out of his soul, and he doesn't sound like Freddie Mercury,
Right.
but he'll hold an ear just
Yeah.
as well as
Yeah.
Freddie will.
Yeah.
And Etta was the female version of that her performances were so real. And a lot of times I'm playing, and a girl will say, can we play it last? And I cringe, because I go,
Why?
yeah, because,
It's already been done.
yeah,
Play what last?
at
last.
last.
Oh, at last.
I can
I thought she was saying, "Come on, let's go."
Ella
Come
James
on,
song.
second. Can we play it last?
And the way Etta did that,
The way
that
she-
song, and I've heard it by a lot of artists, and God bless them, we all have a right to do whatever,
Yeah.
express ourselves the way we want to, so I say it kiddingly, but
She was true.
she just
Yeah.
did it, and so leave it alone. Yeah, it was just too
Yeah.
good, you know?
Yeah, I feel like every song, if a song's good and it begs to be covered. It begs to be
Well,
played.
of course,
it begs
we
to
have
be
to,
heard.
just
Okay,
out of
well,
respect.
I'll give you an
you're gonna
example.
cover 'em, just
I'll
out
give
of
you a
respect.
great example. Beyonce did a cover of it, but there's a difference. I was listening to this. There's a difference in listening and hearing.
Yes, there is.
Big difference. It's like a guy that I was watching, a friend of mine, long story short, he passed away, but he used to tune pipe organs. And there's a difference in listening and hearing. And Beyonce sang it.
Right, damn good, I'll bet, too. She's a
She
good
didn't
singer.
sell it though.
Yeah, okay.
I
yeah.
hear that. I mean, I've heard a million, I played with a
Yeah.
million girls that could sing. But the difference is, I was blessed enough to play with women like the Pointer Sisters, Bonnie and June, that when they sang from
It
their
was
heart.
just- yeah.
It just, they opened up their, no inhibitions.
Yeah.
And Etta didn't have any inhibitions, and she was just
Yeah, I
selling
gotta
the
tell ya.
song.
I gotta tell you.
It's like the
You know,
two,
it's so often what's like the music on TV, these competition TV shows and stuff.
oh yeah.
You know, the singers are perfect. They seek perfection. They hit every note. Not all of them, but too many times. There's just nothing behind it. You're right.
Yeah.
There's like this. I'm ticking every box and perfectly. But and I think what you're describing is, for Etta James and those people is that thing. Beyond that.
Well,
There-
Etta was just great.
There's people that have the gift of music and people that learn how to play it. And the people that learned how to play it can't really grasp what the people with the gift are doing.
Yeah.
I heard a brilliant story that kind of pulls it all together from the engineer of the Beatles, was talking about originally a recording was us getting in a room and recording. And the emotions that were coming from each other was creating that perfect project.
Right.
And then it completely turned backwards to where three of you will play, and then I'll come in and overdub.
Everybody's.
But
yeah,
I'm-
2 days later.
Yeah, I'm not
right,
playing
it's
with
like,
you.
Where's the
and
feel?
You're certainly not playing with me.
Right, exactly.
And then
right.
he mentioned you add another and another, And that's what's gone wrong. And when you get back to the days of Etta, she had a habit of getting AAA players. In
She
her
deserved
last,
them.
yeah, in her last band, she had
What's a AAA player?
Guys
Jimmy
that can
Z.
play.
Jimmy
okay,
Z
it's a
was
group.
playing harp with her, and Jimmy played with Rod Stewart. He played with Tom Petty. He was a sax player. I mean, in
Because AAA in baseball is the minor leagues. It's a little bit lower.
Well,
in
But
music,
that's not what
music-
you're talking about.
the best
Music,
of the best.
AAA is
Okay.
It's the guy that can read a chart and play as if he's feeling it, not reading the chart. And then, like the Tonight Show, will have readers like that. They're playing, but they sound like they're just playing, you know. But Etta was real, and she was always real, and you know, she wouldn't. It wouldn't necessarily be the same version every night.
Right.
It would just be how she felt. You know, Go Blind, you know,
Oh,
which is
another
the
great song.
same chords as Tennessee Whiskey,
Yeah.
kind of same groove. And,
But anyway, Etta was great, and a few years ago, I was working with a guy named Glenn Pizer, who was a pretty big wig at Guitar Center for a long time. Now he's working with Ernie Ball. He's actually my nephew through marriage.
I know
my
Glenn.
sister married. Glenn Pizer, yeah, we worked with him.
Yeah.
And I played guitar for him quite a while. Well, he wanted kind of a rock guitar player in the band too, so he hires this guy Joey. And Joey, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I'm so bad at last names. The Italian guy, I've been to his home. I love this guy. We played together for a couple of years, off and on. We had Sting, Paul McCartney's drummer when he was with Sting. I can't think of his name. Big, tall guy, great guy,
Wow.
played great. He was in our band. So we had some pretty good people, right? And I was doing kind of the country twist thing, and Joey was more of a. He was a good
Denny Lane?
player.
Was it Denny Lane?
It could have been,
Yeah, yeah.
but he had the distortion going and played at 335, and he played it great. It was a good contrast.
It
But
did it
what
all-
I was
it
doing, what
fit-
he was
it
doing.
fit together.
Yeah, we complemented each other. But so he tells me, and I never knew you worked with Etta James. And I got to tell you, take my hat off to you for that because I love
Put
Etta
it back
James.
on.
Joey says to me, I said, "What have you been doing?" He said, working at Guitar Center, and he's with Fender now. He left Guitar Center. But so he ended up telling me I toured with Etta James for a couple of months, and I told him, I said, that's almost better like saying I played with Elvis. I mean, you played with Etta James? He
Yeah.
said, yeah. I said, God, I would have died just to do one night or one song with Etta James.
I bet more people have
But-
played with Elvis. than
Dan,
have
you
played
haven't
with
said
Etta.
anything in the last 10, 15 minutes that we've been on, so what do you think about Etta James?
You guys won't shut up.
Yeah. Okay, well, talk then, say something. Anyway, we love Etta James, obviously.
I don't know a lot about Etta James. Only one or two songs.
Yeah, but you knew who she was.
Oh, yeah.
You heard it, you like her
Yeah.
singing, right?
Yeah, I played those songs.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
last
there
was
was-
probably her biggest hit.
Yeah, that was the one
Yeah.
most famous.
Last, my love is gone.
No, the thing
Do you know
is,
the song
And
we're
then
talking
there
about?
was,
Last?
1/6.
Go Tell Mama, was that Etta?
Yeah, I mean, she
Yeah.
She
she
did a
has
lot
so
of
many
stuff.
tunes that you go, oh, okay,
Those
That's
are the
right.
only two I
okay, yeah,
know.
all right, yeah.
And unfortunately, she led kind of a rough life for a while. She was down and out, going through some rough times. But I never met her. I wish I could have. So
Now,
anyway.
as you can see, Etta-
So we have someone that in the the Wild Country Band that played with Etta James. That makes me feel that much better.
the Wild Country Band should put together a list of people that have played with someone in the Wild Country Band. It would be a good extensive list, I'll bet.
These guys have played with a lot. Paul,
Yeah,
played
Paul,
with
just
Palmer can
Paul's
give you
list alone.
rock. Dan, he won't open his mouth. He's worked with a lot of great people.
Yeah.
And
Well, the
and
producer,
you, Pointer Sisters. That's a good thing.
I was gonna have to behave when I get on camera.
Why?
Because I
This
say
is-
something that I want to say, and then after I say it, I go, ooh, I shouldn't
Shouldn't
have said that.
Well,
Ooh, no.
Well, listen, you mentioned Johnny Cash doing Hurt. And can I sing that song?
I don't know, can you?
Not really, but can I
Johnny
do it
Cash
here?
did Hurt.
Yeah.
Hurt.
Hurt by,
Well, what blows me away is, do you know who recorded that?
yes, I do.
Tell them who recorded it.
Oh, shoot, what's the name of that band?
Trent, 9 Inch
Trent,
Nails.
Trent Reznor recorded it.
Is it the same Hurt? I'm
Oh, no,
thinking
no,
of?
no. The guy who recorded it was the
Mike
the
Campbell.
Malibu guy.
No, it's Mike Campbell with Tom Petty and his piano player. They were
They were the musicians.
It's
on it?
another
Yeah.
Hurt, Dan. They're talking
it's
about
not.
another. It's not the
Yeah.
Jackie
It's a whole
Wilson.
different world.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's
this is.
I'm not going to tell him I play
It's a
with
whole
Jackie
different
Wilson.
world of Hurt.
Don't tell me you played with Jackie Wilson. Excuse me, folks, while I crack this guitar over his head. You son of a. Did you really?
Yeah,
Oh, he was my idol when
just
I
for
was
a
a kid.
minute. Just when I was young, all my friends played with Jackie back in Richmond. I played in New York with him one time before.
Is that
he
before you got
passed away.
shot or after?
That was right before.
I saw him
Yeah.
live in Vegas once, and he
All
was
my
just
friends
great.
back in Richmond played with him. I had a friend. There were a lot of talented guys in Richmond where I grew up. A lot of talented guys.
Jackie Wilson, man, you got some feathers in your cap. I love
Well, I
that.
played forever.
I know. Well, I did too, but I didn't get to play with.
Well, you never
Ella,
left California.
Jackie.
They had to come to you. See, I went to them.
Well, that's right. I never went on the road. I
Yeah.
turned all the road gigs down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was
Wow.
like an oldie show with him and a bunch of other people.
That's okay. Well, I mean, you know, folks, I can drop some names because in Palm Springs back in the late '60s, there was a place called the Red Baron, and they were pretty well known for having all these acts, and they were kind of like near the end of their career. I never ran across Jackie Wilson or Etta James, but I played with, you know, Bo Diddley, Bobby Day, who had the Rockin' Robin record out, the Shirelles,
I
the
played with
Coasters.
Shirelles, Yeah.
Wow.
But you know, well, it's a weekend. They did a couple of nights, and then on the countryside, I worked with like Phil and Husky and Joe Mayfish, and
So you were doing like, instead of like session guy, you were the guy they would hire to go out and be live with them.
well, what I was is we were in the house band.
Okay.
They have a house band, and we're there. And when these acts would come in,
Nice.
now they're not as famous as they were or come in, and the kind of money they used to make. So now they don't bring their own bands. They would use the house band. They might bring a drummer with them, or maybe one guitar player, or someone that really knew
The
this.
guy that owned the car.
But the guy who had the
Right.
van, you know. But they would come in, would meet in the afternoon, do a little sound check. Most of us knew their songs because they had famous songs, and
Yeah.
so most of the house bands, oh yeah, we play, you know, Donka, what's the name of that song? Bo Diddley.
Were you in the house band?
So yeah,
Were you in the house band at Palomino?
no, but I played Palomino enough with enough of those guys that I could have been.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I-
you want to hear how I got fired from the Shirelles?
How? He got fired from the Shirelles.
Here's how.
The drummer, they did the Soldier Boy thing, and the drummer was supposed to start it out. We were playing this big 4th of July festival show, and he got high and got blanked out, couldn't remember the intro. And they're looking at me. They're looking at me because I was the MD. They weren't looking at the drummer. And that was my last show. I basically, you know,
Because the drummer passed out, it was your
oh,
fault?
the drummer didn't start the song off with the right drum part, and he completely froze, and he didn't know what to play, and him freezing made me freeze, and it's like, what are you doing, man? But that was my
So
last
now I
show.
know what to do if John Palmer totally screws up, it ruins my whole show, I get rid of him.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the.
Okay, that's the format.
I've had experience.
I like
Yeah, that was my last Shirelle show.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, so we all worked with people that had names, you know, to some degree.
Oh yeah, easy come, easy go.
It's all fun.
Yeah.
We're having a lot of fun doing the Commons Country Corner show.
Yeah, I mean.
You've been doing a great job for us with all the technical
I-
stuff.
I've enjoyed it. I've gotten to play a little bit. Last week I played a song on my own. My voice is kind of going. I got sick, so I can't project at all. But I played a song on my own, and it didn't go real well, but it didn't matter.
So it's gonna go
had
better the
fun.
next time, then, so
it's
let's
got
that's where you begin.
Nowhere to go but up.
I started singing this one new song called White Freightliner, and it's like a bluegrass tune. And I've only done it twice in the show. Both times I thought, well, I pulled it off. Okay, you know, I'm not a what you call it singer, but it's fun doing the song. It's fast 2-beat thing. The band did a great job behind me. And,
Well, you know,
so I know what that's like when you're trying to do a new song. It's hard to nail it the first time.
And the nice thing is, along the way, at the end of the show, Paul, who is a very respected, he's a songwriter and a musician.
great songwriter.
Yeah.
And he said, Tom, that's a good song, man. He goes, you just got a couple of structural problems. And I said, yeah, I know. And he goes, I'll help you out with that, you know. So
He will.
He's gonna get together, and I know he's gonna help me kind of take some of the fragmentation out of it. But there are some really good lines in it, so it's nice to get acknowledged by Paul. It's not like
Well, that's a compliment that he would even say, listen to the song and
Help me
like it
out.
enough to say, maybe I can help you make it
Yeah.
a little better and show some interest in it. God, every time I showed him a song, he said, that's real good, kid. He goes the other way.
yeah.
Go give me a
Yeah,
sample.
yeah. You got anything to drink around here?
Well, I'm gonna bring up Dan, because,
Jan, who? Oh,
Dan.
Dan,
the first
yeah.
time I met
Is he
Dan,
still here?
I love Dan.
Oh, here.
first time I met Dan,
Yeah.
he was playing the drums. And then the second time I met Dan, he was playing the bass. So,
Okay, we have a question for Dan.
yeah, I
Oh.
threatened his life.
Dan, how many years have you been playing?
That's right.
That's, Anna Marie would like to know.
Who's
Well,
Kim,
interrupting
thanks.
me?
But playing what?
Playing music, I'm assuming.
Well, basically, I started playing drums when I was 14, and then I started playing bass in 1996,
Well, that's a while ago.
which is like, what, I don't know, 26 years ago, something like that. So there's your answer.
But wait a minute. You also play guitar.
Well, yeah, I started messing around with guitar a year before I started playing drums, but I never really pursued that seriously for any length of time.
Who would you who
Go ahead. No, go.
Who would you say are like your musical influences? Who are people that you listen to and think, man, that's motivating me to listen to this?
Almost everybody. There are very few people I don't like, which I'm not going to name.
Oh, come on, that's interesting.
But
Much more interesting.
Makes it a better show when we talk about people we don't like
Yeah.
than people we do like. Anybody can like somebody.
I think what he's saying is, when you are learning to play and you hear people that can play, you're impressed by them.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I
I,
mean-
don't know if that's what he wanted to say.
I know he likes Steely Dan. We've had this
well,
conversation.
that came along much later.
Yeah.
No, like most people my age, it was the Beatles.
Al Jolson.
No,
No, that was my era.
it was the Beatles.
But did you
And
like Ringo?
Rolling
Like
Stones.
Ringo Starr, did you appreciate his drumming?
Yeah, but it took me a long time to figure out what he was really all about.
Uh-huh.
And what did you come to?
Now
when
you can
figured
tell
that
me
out?
what was he all about.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people misunderstand Ringo because what he does is not technically difficult, but he's a great song drummer. He finds the perfect part to play for a song, which is very difficult to do.
Mhm.
And
So he's not just, he's not just a timekeeper.
handful. I don't even know if there's a handful that can do what he does. I'll
Well-
tell you who does a great job is Sal with War. He's another drummer that kind of plays parts in the song
Yeah,
as opposed
without
to,
getting in the way.
without getting
Yeah,
in the way,
and
just
finds
adding
those
to it.
spots where he
But-
just moves
Yeah.
things along.
but with
It's
Ringo,
a hard thing to do, to be able to
with
do that.
Ringo, there are like really basic everyday parts you could play for any song that he played on.
Uh-huh.
But he didn't do that. He had unusual parts that fit the song perfectly.
He still kept his time. He still had to keep
Oh, yeah,
time
yeah,
throughout
he
it
could-
all.
yeah, he
right?
played a groove. Well,
Yeah.
there was something about him
He
not a
was
lot of
Ringo.
people knew. Yeah, there was something about Ringo not a lot of people knew, and I think it's out there now, but for years they didn't know it. And he said drummers would come and watch me play, because I was kind of famous, and they couldn't figure out what I was doing, but he says, I'm left-handed playing a right-handed set, so most of my fills and stuff, I start my left hand, not my right. So it comes out different.
Oh, yeah, I've seen
A
it.
little
I've seen
different.
it.
You saw that interview,
You
right?
say that, yeah.
And he said, that's why some of those things I did them because I had to do them that way to be able to make it fit.
They
I
say
was-
necessity.
Had you heard anything about that, having any influence on his drumming?
Never heard that in my life.
Well, that's a
but
true
he
story.
But he
That's
said
true.
it.
Well,
in
do
an
you
interview.
believe it or do you not? He's
No, that's
left-handed.
absolutely true.
Oh, yeah.
And he was showing the way he would
Yeah.
do a fill. His dominant hand would.
Which reminds me of an old phrase: "Necessity is the mother of invention."
That's right.
Well, for instance, take the Beatles song "In My Life." Now, you could play a very common beat for that song, but Ringo did a really different thing. It's actually kind of difficult to do and make it sound right,
Really?
but because there's a lot of space where you can mess up on the timing.
Did you ever get it down? Did you learn it and be able to play it like he played it?
I invented it.
You and he got it from you.
No, go listen,
Animal.
go listen to In My Life, and you'll see what I'm talking
No,
about.
it-
love them all.
It's a great point, because music's supposed to be a conversation. And it's like, that's the worst part about people that learn to play an instrument. They don't understand that. Like, you look at the Eagles,
Yeah.
and the Eagles will play a song, and Joe Walsh won't be playing anything. You know, because there's no guitar part in that part
That
of the
would
song.
fit, that would fit there,
You
yeah.
know, and if anybody could find a part,
Yeah, he
squeeze
should-
one in, it's Joe. But that's the thing with the drums. It doesn't always have to be this. You know, it can just embellish. And I love songs that they start out with no drummer and then the drummer
Yeah,
will come in.
build
and,
it, yeah.
Yeah, and build it. But
Do you
Ringo.
prefer to play bass or drums?
Drums are easier for me. Bass takes a lot more thinking.
Okay, so I got a guitar story about Dan, you got. Now, Dan and I go back, like I tell people, you know, I'm gonna be 80 in June, so when I say I've known this guy forever, it's because I've been around for 80 years. I have a lot of time to know people forever, right? So I've got old friends that I've known for 60 years. I mean, I met these guys when I was 20, 21, you know, and they're still around playing music, and it's fun to go back that far with people, you know, before the Beatles and even before Elvis, you know. So, so Dan, when did you first buy that real beautiful guitar?
Which one?
The first, I think it was the first one you ever bought. It was a nice guitar, very expensive. You were just learning to play guitar. Anyway, whichever one it was,
Okay.
he buys this beautiful guitar, and he's playing drums at this day. That he brings his guitar to the gig, but he's not going to play. He's just learning to play, and he's playing drums with the Sourdough Brother band. My brother Tony, Buddy, Dan, and me. It's a little four-piece, so we would use Dan a lot on drums. And for years, and now I'm going back, 35 years, 40? How many years ago? 30 at least?
Depends on which guitar you're talking
Well,
about.
let's say your
I've
first
had-
one, your
I've
first
had-
one.
No, I've had more than
Well,
one.
I got 30 of them, I don't care about that, but like 20, 30 years ago, right, 40
Let's
years
say it
ago.
was,
I mean, I'm just trying to get
the
a
guitar I
date.
think you're talking about,
Yeah,
1995.
okay, so you do the math. So that's how far, that's how long
28
it goes.
years.
I was
Yeah.
told there would be no math.
So he gets this
I
guitar
converted in a
and he's
month.
all excited to show it to me. Now we're gonna do a gig, and he opens the case, and I said, "Man, that thing is beautiful." I said, maybe you can let me play it on a couple of songs, you know, tonight. We'll see what it sounds like. And he says to me, "No." he says, "No, I don't want anybody else to play." So I said to him, I said, "Well, Dan," I said, "I'm going to tell you something. That's the nicest guitar I've ever seen that I wasn't allowed to play." I said, "So thank you." And do you still have that guitar?
No, I sold it.
Thank
A
God.
few years ago. I sold it for the same price I bought it for.
It didn't go up in value? You think a
Um,
guitar would go up at least?
no, he
double?
just overpaid for it.
Yeah, well,
Well, I was able to sell it at a good price because there were no dings in it.
yeah,
It was
because
in-
Carmine
It
Sourdough
was
didn't
in
play
It
it.
was in perfect condition.
It never got played by a guitar player, that's why.
No, I've got a guitar at home that I've had since 2001.
Uh-huh.
It's Gibson Herb Ellis model.
Oh, that's a
It's
beautiful
in,
guitar.
it's in perfect condition.
Yes. Do you ever play
It's
it?
gonna stay that way.
Wait a minute, you gotta play these things. You
That's
can't
right.
just put them in a box.
These are a living,
Then what's
breathing
the point of
thing.
having it?
You
Well,
got to beat on them.
I used to
Patina.
I used to take it on the road with me. I bought it in 2001.
Uh-huh.
I used
That's
to take it on
23
the
years
road with
ago.
me, and nothing ever happened to it. So now it stays in the closet. It's in perfect condition. It's a really good one.
Instruments are made to be played
Yes.
to
Not
share
in the
with the
closet.
world, and not made. The hangers are made to be in the closet,
Yes, and
So
children.
it's a
and
hanger.
clothes and stuff like that.
It's a hanger.
Or your personal life, you can keep that in the closet. But the
Well,
guitars are
I
made
bought
to
it.
be.
I bought it September.
Don't come out of the closet,
I
whatever
bought
you
it-
do.
I bought it September 10, 2001, from our friend Grayson, right down the street.
Oh yeah, of course.
Grayson's
Yeah.
Toontown in Montrose. and it's a really good guitar.
I bet it is. Well, one day, I would love to come over to your house and just to look at it.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, I just want to
Can we
look
look
at
at it?
Well,
From a
you know,
distance.
Yeah, we won't get close.
Put a big plexiglass.
No, I'm gonna put the yellow tape up. The
Yeah, okay.
police line.
Do that.
Yeah.
But
I'd love to.
I do have a question for you. If one were to want, and this is a practical experience for anybody out there that wants to do this, if one wanted to sell a guitar nowadays, how would one go about it? Did you sell your guitar?
I
internet
sell
somehow?
everything on Craigslist,
Craigslist.
which I like because we're in a major music town, LA, so that there's a market here.
Right.
And
And you can do it
Answer it,
all
okay.
in
And
person.
people come to me, they almost always pay my asking price,
Okay.
and they give me cash.
Yes.
I don't have to ship it.
And if you're watching from the IRS, his address is 437 Doheny. Apartment
So anyway, that's how I sell
Do
stuff.
you keep the
Okay.
cash in the closet with the guitar?
No.
Okay, I didn't know, I just asked. Hey, why don't we do a little bit of a song, even half one, just, you're probably tired of listening to us talk about a bunch of stuff.
What do you want to do?
You sing one. You got one you want to sing a little too?
Yeah, if I could get a guitar tune.
What you can
Going to
do
the party in the county day.
Okay.
Listen to this. This is, it's cold here, folks. You don't realize it. I'll tell you what, let's go back to,
Well, let's let Tom do one first, because I asked him first.
While you're
Is that
thinking.
why?
Because you take a little
While
longer
you're
to think
thinking.
about what you want to do, so think about it while he's singing, and then as soon as we say go, you go. Is this
Can I
way
give you
out of
something
tune?
to-
You want me to
to
try to
tap
tune it real quick?
or something?
You
you
got it.
can't, it's like,
Well, we're playing on the pushes with the snare.
Yeah,
Tom, talk to Dan to the audience
You're
for a
not gonna
minute.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Oh, okay. Now,
it's
Go to the
untunable.
back.
You guys talk it,
Or get
quick.
something to tap.
Just give me an E. High E. No, one string. High E.
Yes, first of all, I want to say, nothing I say on this show is the truth. Part of my shtick here is to never quite
You know how many guitars I've
tell the
tuned in my
whole
life?
truth,
A
nothing
zillion.
but the truth. In fact,
That's
my
not
motto
gonna
is
stand
dishonesty is the second best policy. So anything I say, don't take it to heart too much.
I've got it.
That said, I do want to say,
I got it, though.
I chewed tobacco with Miss Universe.
Boy, he was up there.
I chewed tobacco. That's right. You heard me right. I chewed tobacco with Miss
mean
Universe. No one else could say that. Her name was Shawn Weatherly. Shawn, if you're out there, I did a play with her. She has 6 or 7 brothers. She was a chewed tobacco. She chewed tobacco, and she was Miss Universe. And this is the kind of life I'm living. Now, what I'd like to do is sing you a song. When they're all about
See?
That's A.
doing what they're doing, which is tuning guitars, which can be fascinating stuff. So, if you're not tuned away before I get to the song,
Is that it right there?
Okay, so,
Sorry, folks, I'm tuning the guitar.
if you ever at a jam session and you get on stage and start tuning your guitar, I hope they throw you out the window. Tune before you come on stage. What are you gonna do?
me?
It's so
I don't know, man. My voice is so shut, I don't know what to do. Look out, look out. Do you know Powderfinger by Neil Young? It's just a G and a C and a D and every note a B minor. Look out. Dang. I don't know if I can sing it. My voice is going. Look out, mama, there's a
You
way
want to do it?
coming up the river.
I told you, but he had a way up.
Can I try that?
Dan's gonna try to tune
No,
it.
it's untunable.
No,
If I can't tune it, nobody
You
can
had
tune
him.
it.
You had him.
I like to do
Give me
that.
my guitar.
Don't look like there's
All right, do a song quick. We're killing too much time here. What do you got?
I'll
What do you
give
got?
you, I'll give you $1 if he can tune it.
I'm
It's
just trying to find
Oh,
something.
it'll
I
be
can sing.
tuned. I got it close, but he's got the tuner. He'll get it right. Okay, what are we doing? Oh, he brought
Oh,
words.
what is this?
He brought a chart to a jam to a talk session.
Well, I just the words. It's the
All right,
words.
go ahead, do it.
It's
What
too
key?
sensitive.
It's a C G C and then an A minor F
I don't
C.
care.
That's a key C, I believe.
Yep. Can't do it either?
Yeah, I said, if I can't do it, nobody can do it.
What is it, instrumental? Sing the song.
Well, I can't project. Riding on in the city of
You want to
Lord.
change it to something like that?
I can't see this one.
I can't either.
Monday morning,
There's always something.
16 cars and 16 restless riders. 3 conductors, 25 saxon man.
You sing loud if you want to hear you.
Well, I can't because my voice is shot.
Is that?
I got the flu and I could barely put
Yeah, I
it
don't
together.
sound so bad.
No, you want to sing one?
Okay, I was thinking about how's the guitar tuning coming, Dan?
He's fighting with it.
Not
I
good.
told you.
So what do you want to sing?
Let's go. When I was young, and
Boy, you gotta do something here.
well, I'm thinking about when
Well, I know.
my first gig when I played with guys as old as you,
Yeah.
and I used to play every weekend at this bar.
Uh-huh.
So I was thinking, when I was here one night, what were the songs that we played back then? And one of them was Hank Williams, Hey Good Looking.
Okay, you want to do that?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do
What
some
key?
Hank Williams. See.
C.
1, 2. Hey, good looking.
C.
What you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me? I'm free and ready, so we can go steady. How's about saving all your time for me? I got $100 right in a $2 bill. I know it's spot right over the hill. There's soda pop and the dancing free. You wanna have fun? Come along with me. Hey, sweet baby, don't you think maybe we could find us a brand new recipe?
solos.
Come on, man.
Hey, why don't you help me with the guitar? Sing a solo.
There's a tear in my beer, 'cause I'm crying for you, dear. You were on my lonely mind. And through these last tears I've cried 1,000 tears. You were on my lonely mind. Pick it. Pick it again.
I don't want to pick it. I don't know which way to
Right.
pick. Sing a solo.
Stop the song.
Stop it? Stop it. Why don't you play rhythm
Stop the
guitar
song.
with me?
I don't know
You
the
I had
you
one.
know those songs.
I just have one
I
question.
don't know
What?
those chords.
Hey Dan, how's the tune coming along?
He's almost got it. He was sounding pretty good.
Tuner is not behaving well.
Well,
not
it's
the
flipping
tuner.
all over the place.
Yes.
It's the 60-year-old strings that are on the guitar.
Nothing to do with it.
Take the ribbon from your hair. They were some
What
of
key?
them.
What key?
I don't know if I know all that.
John
That's a nice
Beelan-
song.
Well,
What?
John Beelan said a tuner concession would clean up there, over here.
A tuner says with what?
Tuner concession would clean up here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Tell him we need him to come tune our instruments for us. What the Johnny, we love you.
Hey, that's what Jimi Hendrix asked Clapton if he'd come on tune his guitar.
Did he really?
Yeah. And Clapton was very upset about that.
So you got something you can sing like right away? Or do
Well,
a song?
I could, but I'm just gonna get in his way.
We're gonna let Dan continue this tuning, but talking about Carmine's Corner this Sunday.
6 o'clock.
Who's the star?
Well, we got Jerry McWhorter coming back. Now, he's the original drummer since when we started the show as you with one of the original members over 3.5 years ago. And he stayed with us about 1.5 years, and then he left. And he left his drum set. So that little kit we're playing with every week
Sounds
still
like
belongs
us.
to him.
We
yeah.
leave ourselves.
My brother Sonny did with the...
Rhodes. Well, I just saw Jerry, and we did Albert Lee's birthday party. Carmine played, I played, and Albert Lee's birthday party. Albert Lee's, everybody knows Albert.
Yeah.
He comes and plays at Carmine's Corner. We have J.D. Manis, who's on the show.
Oh, yeah,
He
we got
comes
some
and
fun
plays.
people.
These are world-class players that come play with us, and we're real blessed for that.
There's like a robust California country, kind of classic country community out here. They do other
Absolutely.
things too, but it's, I mean, you know,
There's a history of Merle, all of them. They've all been in the Southern California.
Well,
Yeah.
California had its own country rock
Oh, yeah.
sound like before. I mean, Nashville was doing great and always has, and so did Louisiana with the Hayride.
Yeah.
They had their own flavor of country, which was
Sure.
great, bluegrass country, and then Nashville came along with the stuff, and a lot of those guys crossed over, like Hank would do the Louisiana Hayride. In fact, I think I'm not even sure if he started there or in Nashville. He might have done the Hayride
No, I think
first.
the
but
Hayride
anyway.
was in
Yeah,
Louisiana.
I mean,
Hayride
it was
in
going, and
Yeah.
they all went through there. Hank Thompson, I mean, all of them, all the old guys.
Where was
Ernest Tubbs,
that?
all of them. This is in Shreveport, Louisiana, at the Municipal Auditorium.
Was-
And it's quite a historic site now. They still have events there, but you go in there, they got like, but James Burton did a
That's
lot of
his
shows
town.
there, and I would go out there all the time to go to his events because he would raise money to buy guitars for the kids in schools and hospitals and stuff. He's got his own foundation, James Burton Foundation. So I would go out and help him out. He's a good buddy of mine, and we'd hang out for a week. And whenever he had a show there, I would go out, and I didn't play, but I got to hang. I mean, Junior Brown, Albert Lee, the Nelson twins, you know, Ricky
Yeah.
Nelson's boys, and everybody, Skunk, you know,
That's
from
it.
Baxter. He's a good friend of ours. He would come out and do it. Tanya Tucker was a T. Graham Brown, love the way he sings. All these kind of people who come out and do the show to raise money, and I got to go for the ride. I knew half of them anyway, and what was I saying? Oh yeah, that was the Louisiana Hayride started there. Now you go up to the old dressing rooms upstairs and stuff, and they kept everything as close. You know, through the years they knew enough to preserve it and not be knocking walls down and putting up big mirrors and chrome handrails. You know, everything is old and cool. And they got Elvis's dressing room, and they still got the same couch and the piano that was in there when he was doing the Louisiana Hayride just coming up. They left it.
Wow.
And it was in there. And now they use it for other people, but it's still got the sign Elvis on it. Isn't that cool?
It could be like, put it in that room, we'll tell them it was Elvis.
Yeah,
played
that's
it.
right.
Well,
And I play that piano. I don't play piano. I can play a few chords, but I did walk over to it and just for the fun of it. And I
have
sat
a-
in the couch
I have a
too.
funny story that I don't think you've heard. Is I was at Nashville and we were playing at the Grand Ole Opry. I was in this country girl band, and it was the radio week, to where all the radio stations would come and you'd do, "Hi, I'm Joe Blow from WKBI. Listen to the radio." And so we're playing, and I'm backing up these girls, and I'm playing bass pedals because we don't have a bass player. So
You're kicking bass, they call
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
so there was 3 girls, and the one girl had no confidence in her voice, so she kept doing this with her hand. She'd be like this to tell me to come up. And now I'm so loud, I can't, because I got a concert rig, you know?
Yeah.
My B3 is like set up for huge concerts. And I'm so loud, I can't even hear the drummer. Now, Colonel Parker is in the audience, and I'm like furious because I know I'm too loud, you know, and I can't even hear the drummer. I'm so loud. So he says, the Colonel's invited us all over to his house for a party after the show. And I was so pissed off, but I'm not going. So I was staying at the Opryland Hotel. So I'm at the hotel, and I wish I'd have gone to the party, of course. But
I would have gone.
and
Absolutely.
I went, so I'm coming out of my room, and here comes a guitar player up the hall. And I said, "How was the party?" He said, "Oh, it's great." I said, "Did Colonel Parker say anything about me?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "You were too loud."
Oh, really? And you knew it anyway. Great stuff.
He
Yeah,
knew.
the old Louisiana Hayride.
Yeah, he did. "You're too loud."
And they got a picture of Burton hanging on the wall because he was part of the house band when he was like 14 or 15 years old.
So
And
he's been
they got a
playing that
picture
long.
of him when he was that age hanging on the wall.
At
you
that-
know, at that time, yeah, he had
Is there
enough.
any recordings of him at that age?
Oh, I would imagine so. Well, Susie Q wasn't too bad from Dale Hawkins. He was 15 when he wrote that, I think, wrote that lick. And that's
He's-
on the
he's
record.
such a great
And Dale wrote the words to it, but Burton wrote that lick and wrote the music, you know. And Burton never got credit for it legally, you know, he's not on he played on it, and it was his arrangement and everything. But the business side of it, he never got like.
Never got
That
paid.
was in those days. I
That,
know
yeah,
all
well, there was
about
so much of that going on in those days where
it.
you'd write a
Yeah,
great song and
Yeah, no.
you know, the manager or the producer, someone would take it and put their name on it. You get screwed
Oh,
for your
it
money.
happened all the way up in the 70s.
Yeah.
Because I'd be looking for my credits on projects and
Wasn't
never
there.
see 'em. No.
I got my credits on my projects when I wrote stuff with Mickey Rooney Jr. and he got with a group called Song in 1969. And they were a cross between like the Beatles and Fleetwood Mac. Kind of rocky, but kind of Beatle-ish, you know, not country, maybe a little, but that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
And Mickey, what a nice album that was. And we did two songs. Whenever Mickey did a song called "Whenever I Think of You," that he and I wrote, and the other one was called "I'm Not Home." And when I looked on there, my name's on there, so
Oh.
he gave me my credit for writing
Okay.
the songs.
Is that how you got the Lexus out there?
No, I got that Lexus because my brother Louis gave it to me.
Not royalties?
I can't afford a Lexus. Anyway,
Did you get
Yeah.
it tuned?
what?
Did you get it tuned?
It's tuned as good as I can do it.
It's fine.
You know,
Yeah.
these strings aren't right.
I know
This
that.
E string is
Let
like
it be
the
said.
same diameter.
Yeah, that's the way I want it.
As a D string.
Okay.
It's horrible.
Well, if we got an hour yet, because really this is kind of dying on the vine.
Yeah, we're dying
It's kind
here,
of
folks.
laying here.
We're dying here.
45 minutes, 46 minutes.
Well,
So
now-
if you want to do a song, and you can
As
just do
close
one
as I
that,
can get
that
it.
we really know that you can just sing, like very simple, nice straight or something, let's do it. If you can't, you want
Ain't
to do it.
no use to sit and wonder why me.
Slow stop, but he'll get it going.
If and
He likes to
you don't
work
know
into it.
by now.
Oh, by the way, John Beelan, who said that we need a tuning something or other, would have us.
And a manager.
And a manager. John Beelan. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, Johnny. Now, I met John before he was with any of these people. I met him at a place, I believe, John, if you could correct my memory, I knew it was with Thad Maxwell. Thad lived over there in Tahunga, and I remember seeing you. But I met you before I knew you knew Thad, and I think it was at a place in Glendale called the Copa Room. If I'm wrong, please write me and correct me, but it was back in the 60s, 68, maybe 60. So he goes on, John wants to pursue this guitar playing thing, and he's a great guitar player. And he wants to make a living doing it, and he did just fine. So he ends up getting with Gib Gilbo, my brother-in-law, through marriage, because I married Susie. And they started the band. One of the big things was Swamp Water. There was a few other bands. One called, a guy named Nigel had One Man's Family. I think you worked with them, John. And there were people like that around. And of course, Graham Parsons, we all kind of knew him. And the Burrito Brothers and all that, all those guys. Bernie Liddon was in there, you know, the Eagles. He was one of the guitar players with Graham. Anyway,
John's
Emmy
like-
Lou was around a little bit back then. So there was kind of that Topanga Canyon crowd, rock and country mix. We're all floating around. We all knew somebody. So John goes on, people like, of course, Linda Ronstadt, when they started the Swamp Water band, Linda picked them up. She loved them. And when she was just coming, I think, from like the Stone Ponies and then getting into the country kind of stuff, John was her guitar player. Now, John, I don't even have your whole resume. I don't know everything you've done. I know you've done more than what I'm going to mention, but
Bet you
the
can't.
ones I remember were Linda Ronstadt, then they went with Arlo Guthrie, and then he worked with people like the Bellamy Brothers, Mac Davis, Dolly Parton,
Wow.
and John, that's only 1/10 of what you know. He can
Why
come
did
up with 100. No,
When he with us on Sunday.
Why? Well, because he lives up north, and John, please come down and let's do a show and just
He's
talk
a,
about
he's-
old times.
He's a regular. He watches the show.
I know he does. It's a friend. I've known him. I knew him before Gib knew him.
Yeah, and he's
Gib Gilbo and those guys. I met him with and Thad Maxwell was a good friend of mine. Thad and I worked at the Red Bear in that club I told you. We worked with Bo Diddley and all those guys. Well, Thad was one of the guys on drums on half of those gigs, along with Kent Dunbar, my other buddy. But yeah, we all started out back then. I was playing before that, as I think John was too, but we met in L.A. because he came to L.A. Dad came from New York, upstate New York, came to L.A. He got here 3 or 4 months. I met him. There was a little club in Glendale called the Copa Room that I would go down and play a lot. Hey Johnny, here's a true story. Kind of a little feather in my cap between Thad and I and stuff. I meet him at the Copa Room, Thad Maxwell, right? Nicest guy in the world. I've got a Tully. I think it was the one with the F-hole in it. They made back in the 60s. So I get up on stage because I would always play down there with the band. They just let me sit in everywhere I went. I mean, I get to play. So I sit up and play. And Thad Maxwell, after the first set, I just met him. He just got in town like a few days. And we introduced ourselves. And he says to me, you know, your playing kind of reminds me of James Burton. He said
Oh,
it that
no
many
kidding.
Yeah, I squid. I said, that's funny. I said, because I said, he's my idol. And I said, I happen to know James pretty well. He said, you know James? I said, yeah, I met him at about 59, 60, and we're pretty good friends. You know, we're okay. That was about the time James has just gotten with Elvis, 68, around there. And he just got with the Elvis band. And I went to Vegas and so I got a whole bunch of, I could brag about that all night, the things,
Yeah.
with, you know, with Elvis and all those guys. But anyway, so John, yeah, man, we got to come in and come down and do the show. But this guy is well-rounded. He's a good guitar player, knows how to record. He's a good recording artist, and he's worked with a lot of great people. You don't get to work with these great people if you don't know what you're doing.
If you got
You know,
money, you can.
He did it, believe me. All right, enough about Beeland. I think we got the guitar tune.
Ain't no good.
He'll go.
Ain't no use in turning on that light, babe. Don't matter anyhow. When you rooster crows and the break of dawn, look out your window, babe, 'cause I'll be gone. We're the reason traveling on. Don't think twice, it's alright. Come on, come on, pick something.
Please. I don't know the chords. That's not singing. Enough of that.
Walking down that long lonesome road, babe. One more verse. Where I'm bound, I cannot tell. They say goodbye's too good a word, babe. So I'll say fare thee well. And I ain't saying you treated me unkind. You could have done better, babe. But hey, I don't mind. Just kind of wasted my precious time. Don't think twice, it's alright. Come on, Carmine, just one
No, I
time.
don't want to. I'm not. Hey, I think we're gonna cut this off. We had fun.
Okay.
Yeah, Mickey Cox is loving the show. He said that like twice.
Mickey Cox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And John Beeland, he said, do you remember Johnny Apollo?
Oh, of course. Played with him. Yes.
Yeah, he said you remember the singer named Johnny.
And that's Copa Room. He used to play at the Copa Room. Did John remember the Copa Room? Tell me about it. Johnny, we got a call. Call me and we'll talk.
Well, go ahead. I want to know who Johnny Apollo is.
Johnny Apollo was, I believe he was a keyboard player. I think he had a brother too.
Singer.
Singer, yeah. But also, I think he played keyboards. Okay, I'm sorry, folks. It's a conversation now between me and John Beelan, but he was one of the original guys back when
Yeah, no, I'm
all getting going. Hey, Johnny, remember Tony Visco? That's a name. He was like a Tom Jones guy. He was a great guy, and we played.
Mark Anthony.
Huh?
John says Mark Anthony.
Of course, yes, Mark Anthony, all those guys. See, that's when I met John. Was back in that group, and that was before the Swamp Water, the Linda, all that other. This was when he had just gotten to California, I think. And I met him right away. We became good friends.
Listen, was Jimmy Angel around back then? Or
Well,
he
he
a
was
different-
around back then, but we didn't know him.
What was his story? He's an interesting guy.
I don't know the whole thing. Jimmy Angel,
I know everything about him. What do you want
He
to
was
know?
a New York
What
guy.
you do? Well, I know he started in the 50s. He
He's
was a
told the
teen
story
idol.
every
Yeah, well-
show we've ever done.
And he was a teen idol, and I think he's had quite a few like top 10 and #1 hits back in the 50s. He was
Yeah.
like a teen idol kind of a guy.
He's like, how old is he?
He's 88.
And
So-
sings his butt off.
Yeah,
He does, still sings good. Man, we had him up here a few weeks ago.
He's got all the.
He's got
stuff,
all those
too,
moves,
man.
and I love Jimmy.
Well, I want to
Yeah.
explain something to our audience. It's really cold in here. In the studio, it's really cold. That's why these guitars are just
Well,
not
that's right, Jim.
cooperating
Yeah, that-
in this
that-
weather.
The only guy that would know they're out of tune is John Beelan.
Well, he needs
Everybody
to
else, they don't
cut
know
off
the
your
difference.
internet,
I'm
John.
not-
Go to
Yeah, these-
Instagram for a little while.
Well, no, John's.
No, that's why it's probably about 67 degrees in here. They like to keep it cool because
it's cold outside.
It's cold outside.
And it costs the heat.
Hey, look at this! Look at this shirt that our good friend Jimmy Eaton made for me. Wait, if I can get my zip on.
Oh, you got it on. That's nice.
Can you see it?
Carmine's Country Corner.
Now, if anybody wants to buy one of these, just contact me. They're only $4,000 each.
Yeah,
Yeah.
signed. Got
And
signed.
but
Two for
no,
3,500.
no, they're 5,000 when I sign it.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, no, but Jimmy Eaton and Kerry Caruso, great people. And I told a story about them one time, and then I did it without getting her permission, and I had to be honest with her and say, because I think I told it on
did.
the air.
You did.
Yeah, I did, right? Remember?
Yeah.
And so, and I said, Kerry, I'm sorry, I just slipped. I told this story, and I didn't know whether it was okay with you or not. I would never have done. And she said, that's fine. I'm glad you told. So I got off the hook. Now here's the story. Jimmy Eaton's playing the Palomino Club. I don't know how many years they've been together now. 40? I forget, but many, many years. And he's playing the Palomino Club, and she's in the audience. So she goes over and starts talking to Jimmy. And they hit it off, and they go out to coffee. And then they go to her place or his place, one or the other. And then they never left. So she says, I call it my 40-year one-night stand.
That's
She
the,
says,
that's the
I
best
did a
ones.
one-night stand that lasts. So far, it's lasted 40 years. We never left each other. She said, I never went home. We just stayed together. And they're two of the nicest people you
They
ever
are.
want to meet. I love
So
them.
did he make them or did he have those made?
He had these made, and I thanked him, and I never followed up and had any more made. But if I decide to, I'm calling him first and saying, "Can you give me another couple of dozen?"
He
more?"
did the design.
Worst thing you can do is get T-shirts made. If
But
everybody
this is-
wants one.
Yeah, but this isn't a
Nobody wants to
T-shirt.
pay
This is a
for it.
long sleeve, like a sweatshirt.
well, yeah,
This is a
yeah.
nice one. This isn't one of those flimsy kind of T-shirts.
No,
This
no,
is heavy
that's
material,
quality.
and it's well made, and
You
it's,
can
and
wash
it's
it
long
and it'll
sleeve.
look the same.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
This doesn't go away in two
Yeah,
months.
you can't make them cheap.
So Jimmy, thank you. Well, we're getting close to the end. You know, I felt like the show tonight, or not the show, but the little thing. I felt like it kind of went okay, and then I think it hit a dip for a while.
Yeah, and
then
I got
think,
hurt.
I think we came out. And John Beelan saved my butt after 50, 60 years knowing you, buddy, with the little talk we had. So God bless you, Johnny.
Well, I
And-
think if you're at all interested in the sort of stuff that Carmine Country Corner is about, these are always interesting.
Back
Yeah, we ought to
behind
know
the
what we're gonna
scenes.
do.
So behind
You
the
know what
scenes.
I always say about the Wild Country Band? I'm going to let and this is no big thing, because I'm going to tell you, when you got good musicians like John Beelan, if he come down here and walk through that door, we set up, he would do songs that like everybody would know,
Yeah.
and he'd do them right and do them good. And you know what? You would think we rehearsed for 6 months. You would think the band like played forever.
Yeah.
Well, if you're a good enough musician and you kind of know what the other guy's gonna
What the
do,
other guy has,
we know
knows.
what to do, basically.
Oh,
you know.
yeah.
So
Okay.
it's all gonna sound good.
I'm gonna take this opportunity to thank my
To
many,
drive the show on even further.
many sponsors. My keyboard
Go ahead.
stand favorites, Black Panther.
Black
You see
Panther,
one
even
over
though
here?
it's yellow, don't let the color
That-
fool you.
Because it's a special edition. And Hammond organs and chord keyboards and Redhead Stepchild covers. And if I forgot you, no. Booker Limited.
He's doing
They're-
his
The sponsor list.
endorsement
They're all great,
obligations.
yeah.
Obligation.
I'm gonna make videos of some of this gear. It's so amazing, like this Booker, this box that I have, that you can put any kind of Leslie to plug in it, and it'll plug into your Hammond. It's just,
It's,
it
just-
really
it's amazing what they can do.
amazing
today.
stuff.
It is.
The
And,
guy
if-
that,
and the guys that know how to use it sound pretty good, don't they?
Yeah, Tom that invented
Because
it.
they know
He's
what to
from
do with it.
Carolina.
Not like you.
Genius
Get
guy.
that off of me.
So thank all those people, because it's the best gear. If you want something that sounds like an organ, what do you gotta do? Gotta get a Hammond.
That's right.
It's the only thing.
So
that sounds
anyway,
like
Kim,
an
are we ready to go? Are we off yet?
No, one more thing.
What? Wait,
One
wait.
last thing. Go, what? You got something?
Dan's got something to
No,
say
I just-
again.
Oh,
You finally
Dan's
want
gonna
to say
say something.
something?
So I had to buy my own drink.
organ. Oh.
I bought the donuts.
I don't eat
How
donuts.
do I know that?
So
You're a
I just want to
musician.
say,
What musician doesn't eat donuts?
Before you sign
Never heard
off-
of such a thing.
thank you to everybody
I'm
who
not a real musician.
checks out
Of course you
Carmine.
eat donuts.
Carmine's Country Corner.
Oh, and folks, I'm gonna be at Knott's Berry Farm every Saturday night from now till the end of April. You know, they're only doing Saturdays and Sundays music there now.
Oh,
And they put me with like 4 or 5 different guys. It's
Oh,
just a duo thing that we do. And so I get booked with all 4 or 5. So I'm doing every.
well, for that drive, you want to be up there a while and do, get some time in for sure, instead of one show.
Well, it's 4 shows a night. They're
The
only 20
Saturday
minutes
drive's
long.
a lot
But the
easier
point
than
is,
the
every
Friday
Saturday
drive.
night I'm working, and that's a
Right.
good thing. What?
Right, the Saturday drive is a lot easier than the Friday night drive.
Absolutely. And it's only 33 miles from my house. Last week we
Which
get
is
off at
6 hours.
9:20. I was in my car at 10 o'clock, and I got home at 10:35.
Oh,
No, there was no traffic.
yeah, no traffic.
I
it's fine.
33 miles. I did in a half hour.
110
So
miles.
before we
home.
go, I just want to say, we do these little chats every now and then. Tune into the next one when we're going to have Dan tune another guitar.
Yes,
So
but not very good.
you don't want to miss that.
Hey, I got a good idea for one. Now, this would be great. We're gonna let Dan do one all by himself, and all he's gonna do is just sit there and look at the camera, and that's it. That'll be the whole show
Yeah,
for
it's
1
a-
hour.
It's like an art piece. He's a Danimal. He's like a Danimal.
I love
you gotta
this
watch
guy.
this guy.
Hey,
Anyway, folks, see you Sunday at 6. Don't be late. Tell your friends. Do the what's it called?
Like.
The like button, and what else? Oh, subscribe
On YouTube.
on YouTube. Subscribe Facebook. You subscribing that too?
No, you subscribe on YouTube.
Subscribe on YouTube.
And
Help
I'm
us
gonna go
out.
with this.
Go out with the guitar and the mic.
and remember, folks, just scribble on YouTube.
That was funny. Dan, thank you so much. Did you have fun?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was good.
Big fun.
No, it is fun. Come on now.
I had a big old time.